All right, we are live right now, I believe. Okay, if you're watching this live stream after the live stream is over, leave a rocket emoji in the comment section. So if you're watching this after the live stream is over, leave a rocket emoji in the comment section. I don't know why I'm whispering right now, so I'm just going to stop doing that, and I'm going to talk normally now. Okay, hello everyone, just joined the stream. How you guys doing? If you guys can hear me, just say hi in the chat, and then we'll get started with what we have for today. If you can hear me, just say hi in the chat. All right, hello everyone, how you guys doing? Okay, so today's live stream is going to be a bit different from what we normally do. We're still going to do some sculpting, but this video or this live stream is just basically a promo for the workshop I'm doing this weekend. So a sculpting workshop I'm doing this weekend. So let me just tell you guys about that before we get into the live stream. Into the live stream. So this weekend on the 28th, the 29th and 30th, which is Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be doing a face sculpting workshop. It's going to be a live 3-day sculpting workshop for anyone who struggles to sculpt good looking faces in Blender. Okay, on day one, I'm going to show you guys. On day one, I'm going to show you guys the understanding. I'm going to show you guys how to understand the forms of the face. And let me actually just open up my notes here, what I prepared to teach you guys on that day. So I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to break all of this down. If you want to learn how to sculpt faces, this is the first step. It's the first thing you should do before jumping into sculpting. So understanding the forms of the head, I'm going to break all of this down during the workshop. On day one, we are going to understand the forms of the face. I'm going to break all of this down, sculpting the nose, the ears, and all of this, and then we'll go step by step to sculpt out a whole character. So on day one, we are going to look at, I'll break down most of these, and then we'll also do blocking out. On that day, we'll block out the character, and then on day two, we are going to go into detailing the character. So we'll start from like right here. We do the eyes. I can actually just show you the Blender file here. So on day one, we are going to do the block out. So this and this, we are going to block out the character on day one after I finish explaining the forms of the face. And then on day two, we will finish off the sculpt. So we're sculpting the eyes, we will refine the block out and sculpt the mouth. Then we are going to refine the mouth. Then we're going to add eyebrows and eyelashes. We're going to sculpt the ears. We're going to merge our sculpt. Then we'll just add in a little bit of asymmetry to the sculpt, and then we'll add in some more details, so grease pencil lines and just some other things to make the character look much nicer. So that's everything we're going to do on day two. And then on day three is actually going to be a feedback session. Let me just open that. So day three is going to be live critique and sculpt over session. So we are going to do an example of this right here on this live stream. So for everyone that joins, I'll just go over your sculpt and show you guys how to make it better. So you can check the link in the description. There are limited spots for the workshop. I believe there are just 2 spots left. So if you click on the secure your spot button and it takes you to the checkout page, if it takes you here, then you know that there are still spots left. But if it doesn't take you there, then you know the spots are gone. So join the workshop right now. Go ahead and join. Let me actually just share the link for the workshop in the comments, in the chat. Yeah, so you can join that if you want to join the workshop. Okay, limited spots remaining, and let's actually get into what we have for today's live stream. So someone sends me their sculpt to look at. Let me also just close this. Where is it? We're going to be doing a sculpt over session, just an example of what I'm going to be doing on the day 3 of the sculpting workshop. Someone actually sent their sculpt to me. Arun, thank you for sending your sculpt over to me. And the challenge they're facing is not entirely sure, but he said there are some things that look off. So let's just open up his file, and then we are going to try to fix it up together. And if you guys have any question about the workshop or about my workflow, just let me know. So here's the sculpt that Arun sent over to me. The sculpt is not too bad, but there are a lot of things that we can fix up right here. So we are going to get started with this sculpt. I'm just going to jump into the sculpting workspace and let's get started. First off, let's hide the hair so that doesn't get in the way. I'm going to hide the hair right here. Okay, and let's fix the sculpt. We're going to try our best to make the sculpt look good and just make anything that looks weird, we're going to fix it up. Alright, so first things first, when I take a look at this sculpt, I think what's off on this sculpt are the face proportions. So we are going to fix that. Before we do that, from the side, the neck is just too far behind. So let's actually, before we start sculpting, I'm just going to duplicate this and I'll move it into a new collection called as Sculpt over. Also move this into its own collection, call this original, just so that we can compare the sculpt, the before and after. So I'm going to work on the Sculpt over collection right now, and then I'll hide this and let's go in and let's fix up the neck. I'm going to bring this in right here, so the neck is not that far back. It was like right here, so it's just under the ear like so, and then I'm just going to rotate it something like this. All right, so that's for the ear. Now let's work on the face a little bit more. We're going to do a lot of work on the face, so let's go into sculpt mode, and I'm just going to change the focal length of the viewport to something much more manageable. So sculpting at a focal length of 50, that's the default, makes the sculpt look a bit too skewed. So we're just going to change the focal length. I like to change this to 150. You can find what works for you, but 150 works really well for me. So we can now actually start fixing up the sculpt. So first off, right here, there is no separation between the jaw and the cranium, so let's fix that. And then also stuff like this, like the ear, trying to sculpt the ear from one mesh, like sculpting it out from the face, is like so difficult when you're starting out sculpting. So this approach, I will not recommend this for anyone that's just starting out. So don't try to sculpt the ear from one mesh, just use another mesh to block it out. That way it will be much easier to sculpt. So I'm just going to smooth over this ear, and then we'll block it in with another mesh later on. I'm just going to use the script brush. Let me actually turn on screencast keys. I'm going to use the script brush, and I'm just going to go over that ear, and then I'll smooth this out so that that's flat. Alright, nice. Now let's mark out that separation between the jaw and the cranium. I'm going to use the crease polish brush, and then I'm just going to mark here out so that we have that separation between the jaw and the cranium. And I'm also just going to pull the jaw up like this, and the separation between the jaw and the cranium is actually at the middle of the head. So if this is the cranium, we need to find the middle, so we need to push this jaw to somewhere around here. So I'm just going to erase all of this, and then let's push the jaw to the middle of the face, or the middle of the cranium, somewhere around here. And then something I see a lot is a common mistake I see: the back of the head is actually not round, is actually flat because it's going in to meet the neck. So I'm just going to use the scrape polish brush and I'm going to plane this out like so, and then I'm going to smooth it out. Alright, nice. We still need to work a lot on the front, but that's fine for now. I'm just going to work on the back and fix this up. I'm going to fix up the jaw. I'll just pull this, make this more angular from the side view, and then the back of the head, we can actually just pull this out. Alright, now let's see at the front of the face. So there's a lot of stuff going on the front of the face. Everything, like, there's just a lot of surface irregularity on the sculpt. So let's just go ahead and smooth this out, and we might actually just need to bring down the remesh resolution so that we can smooth stuff out a little bit easily. So I'm going to reduce the remesh resolution, and then I'm going to remesh this, okay, and then I'll also just shade this flat. I like when I can see the individual faces so that I know how big or how small my resolution is. Okay, now let's go into sculpt mode, and we're just going to smooth out areas like this on the side of the face. Just smooth out the cheeks right here, and I'm also going to smooth out the transition between the nose and the face, and then let's smooth out these cheekbones a lot. So I don't know exactly the reference Arun was using to sculpt this character, so we are just going to make it look nicer. I can't make it look more like the reference, I'm just going to make it look nicer. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. If we had the reference, it would have been a lot better to see the direction he was going in, but I don't have the reference he was using, so we're just going to make it look nicer. Let's expand the jaw out a bit, and then let's fix up the shape from the front, and then I'll raise this up. Okay, let's also just pull this out, and then we don't want the jaw to like bend in like this, so I'll just bring this down. We can also use the scrape brush, and then I'm going to plane out the under of the jaw. Okay, I see a question in the chat: how much did you put strength of the smooth brush? So for the strength of these brushes, I don't usually change them, so let me just go to the smooth brush. So yeah, the default strength is at 0.7. I don't change it, but I'm using a tablet, so I'm using the pressure sensitivity, so I don't normally change the strength of any brush at all. I actually don't change most of the settings on any brush at all. I just sculpt with it. Yeah. Okay, then let's also pull the mouth forward. I'm going to use the grab brush, and we're just going to pull the mouth forward so that we can have a nice profile right here. Okay, nice. And then let's smooth out the under of the mouth. I'm just going to hold down shift, and I'll smooth this out so that it blends nicely with the rest of the face. And then probably we can make this jaw much manlier. So we just pull this out, and then we can also plane out the side of the face, so the cheekbones. We can just use the scrape polish brush, and then we can plane this out like so, and then I'll just smooth that over. Okay, that's starting to look like something. Let's also plane out the temple region of the head. I'm just going to use the scrape brush, and then I'm going to plane the side of the head, and I'll smooth that out. Okay, I think I want the jaw to come higher a little bit more, so I'll use the grab brush and I'll pull this up. So what I'm trying to do now is just fix up the forms of the face before going into the details, because if the general or the overall shape of the head doesn't look nice, doesn't matter what's on the face is also not going to look nice. So I'm just trying to fix up the general shape of the head, and then we'll go in and fix in the details on the face. Okay, someone has a question. I have a question. Forgive me if it's a bad question, but I'm new to Blender. Is it possible to rig these sculpts for expression and stuff, or is sculpting for animation different? Okay, so it sculpts like this. You can't exactly rig this for animation because there are a lot of faces and it won't just work nicely. So for sculpts like this, you have to go through a process called retopology. You have to retopologize your sculpt, so you have to give it good topology for animation, and that's just what retopology means, giving your sculpts good topology for animation. So yeah, you can't animate or you can't rig sculpts like this. You have to retopologize them and you'll be able to animate them. So yeah, okay, thanks. I find my smooth brush very strong. So are you using a graphics tablet or not? Because that might be an issue. If you're using a mouse, it's going to be like full pressure. So if I just go to my smooth brush, let me go to the smooth brush again, and I turn off the pressure sensitivity and I try to smooth, you can see that it's really strong. But if I'm with the pressure sensitivity and I just go over it, I have control over how hard I'm pressing with the brush. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Alright, let's also fix up the cheekbones right here. I'm just going to smooth this area right here just so that it flows nicely into the face. Okay, and let's probably just pull this out. Okay, and we'll use the script brush and just going to plane this side of the face. Nice. I'm going to increase my image resolution just a bit, just so that we can start adding some details. Take it to 0.02. Okay, nice. And let's work on the mouth. Okay, actually before we do that, let's actually just work on the neck. I'm going to go into edit mode, S and X. I'm going to scale this up and let's just sculpt in the neck just to give a little bit of indication of the neck. So I'm going to increase my remesh resolution, Ctrl R to remesh this, and then make sure to turn on asymmetry and then just sculpt it over. Okay, we can also make some indication for the shoulder. So if I just pull this out right here and I also pull this out here. Okay, I think the neck needs to be much wider just to give this guy a much manlier look. So I'm just going to bring out the neck, something like this here, and that starts to look nice. Let's also just pull out the shoulder just a bit more. I'll use the clay brush and I'll add in some more volume right here. You can also sculpt in the sternocleidomastoid, this weird muscle right here in the neck, and then I'll indicate the Adam's apple a bit. Then I'll just smooth this out. Okay, I'm also just going to pull the neck into the face just so that we don't see that, and let's smooth out the shapes on the neck. I'll hold down shifts and I'll smooth out everything. Nice. Okay, I see a question in the chat. Red Ninja, finally caught one of your live streams. I appreciate your character modeling content. It's been doing wonders when approaching stylish character and getting those important areas right. You're welcome, Red Ninja. You have a very long username, Red Ninja Multimedia Productions. You're welcome, no problem at all. And I'll keep on releasing content or tutorials and videos to help you guys out. Okay, so that's for the neck. I'll just bring this in, something like this, and I'll just smooth out the back of the head just so that this can blend nicely into the neck. Okay, so let's take a look at the before and after of this sculpt. So this is what we had before, this is what we have now. We have not made a lot of changes, and we have already made the sculpt look much nicer. So I think that's going good. Yeah, let's continue. I have equation for, okay, someone is asking a question. I have equation for hour of the workshop. Are you asking what time the workshop is? The workshop, the face sculpting workshop is, let me just show you that, is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. CST, so 2 hours every day for the 3 days that we're going to be there, on the 28th, 29th and the 30th. So yeah, that's how long the workshop is going to last for. Yeah. Yeah, Red Ninja, I should definitely fix the name, but it's good. Alright, let's continue sculpting. Okay, so now we have fixed the overall shape of the head. Now let's take a look at some of the details on the nose and on the mouth. Let's fix some of those details. So first off, I'll just make the line of the mouth straight. I like to keep it completely straight like this. I'll just mark it out with the crease polish brush again. Okay, and let's also mark out the chin. I'm going to mark this out right here, and we can already see the mouth start forming. If you ever get stuff like this on your model, like the mouth, you can just add in some volume right here to cover that up. So I'm using the clay shoes brush and I'm adding in some volume right here. Okay, and that just fixes any weird shapes that we had at the corners of the mouth. Okay, next thing I want to do, let's refine the lips a bit more. I'll bring this up, and for lips, when you're sculpting the lips, you just want to make sure that they are actually curved this way. So let's do that. The way I like to do that is with the inflate brush. So I for the inflate brush, and I'm just going to inflate the upper lip. Nice. And I'm also going to inflate the lower lip. Let's do it again for the lower lip. I'll just inflate this area like so. Okay, nice. And I'm going to fix up the profile view of this character. So we want it to slant in. So I'm just going to bring the nose out just a little bit more. And we can also just pull the jaw back just a tiny bit. And I'll fix up the jaw, the under of the jaw here. We can use the script brush, Shift T, and you can just plane out the face. Alright. Okay, I see a question in the comments. Okay, I understand, but I'm French. I was wondering what time corresponds in France. I don't know what time that is in France. Okay, let's Google that right now. So to France time. Okay, that is not what I'm looking for. 11 a.m. CST to France time. Okay, my Google. Okay. So that is, what is this? What am I saying? 11 a.m. yeah, is 6 p.m. in France or in Paris. So yeah, 6 p.m. for you. So you check if that time works for you, and then you can join the workshop. Okay, let's get back to sculpting. Okay, let's refine the nose a bit more. I think we have worked on the mouth. We are still going to come back to this. Let's work on the nose a bit more. Let's define the nostrils. I'm going to use the crease polish brush. I'm just going to mark out the nostrils like so. And let's actually just bring the nostrils down. And I like to check the before and after on this. The before and after, I think we are making some progress. We still need to adjust the eye, But yeah, I think we are making a lot of progress from where we started from. And let's actually see with the hair. Oh wow, we have messed up the hair somewhere, so we'll have to fix this up. So I'm just going to turn that off, and let's continue on the face. We will fix the hair later on. I think you messed up some of the vertex groups. Okay, and the nose, let's dig in the nose shields a bit more. I'm just going to use the grab brush, pull this out, and using the draw brush, I'm just going to take the nose shields in. So I'm holding down control and I'm just taking the nose shields in like so. And then so you see the nose shields here, you want to make sure you have a nice transition from the nose shields to the bottom of the mouth. So just hold down shift and smooth it out so that you have a nice transition to the mouth. Nice. I think I'm going to make the side of the nose a bit bigger just to fit the aesthetic of this character, and I'm going to pull this in a bit more. Alright, also something I'm noticing here right now on this sculpt is that if you actually take a look, that this sculpt is not symmetrical. So we have this part going this way we have this part going this way, but this part is like a bit round. So to symmetrize your sculpt, go up to symmetrize, change your direction from the most likely to be the plus x axis to the minus x. So in Blender, this is the plus x axis and this is the minus x. You can see that from this gizmo right here. So this is the plus x, this is the minus x. So we change this to plus x minus x, and then you can symmetrize your sculpt. Alright, now we are sure it's completely symmetrical. So now we have the left side symmetrical to the right side, which is nice. Okay, that is for the nose. Let's smooth out more of these transitions on the face right here. So I'm just going to smooth it out, hold down shift and smooth it out. I want to make sure not to smooth out the nostrils that we just worked on. Okay, let's try something here. Let's try giving this guy a double chin or whatever this is called. So I'm just going to and I think that works for this character. You guys let me know if I should leave it or not. Should I leave the double chin on this character or not? Okay, let's keep on working on the eyes. And there's nothing really wrong with the eyes. It's just that the eyes don't have any definition to them. So let's define the eyelids. I'm going to increase my image resolution. I'll take it up a bit, so it's 0.015. Control R, and okay, this is nice. And now I'm going to use the crease polish brush and mark out. Okay, I see a question. Is it very early at your place? It's currently 11:28 AM. So yeah, it's a bit early, but yeah, it's currently 11:28. Okay, so this is for the eyes, and the eyes are doing something weird from the side view. So I'm just going to pull the eyes back. Nope, not the head, the eyes. I'll pull this back so that it doesn't bulge out as much right here, and I'll just smooth this over. And I think this character looks like an Asian character, so we are going to keep that vibe with the eyelids. So I'll just go with the flow there and see how this turns out. Let's mark out the eyelids. So hold down control with the crease polish brush and then just mark out the eyelids like so. Okay, the eyes will be the part I struggle with at times. Yeah, the eyelids are a bit difficult. And okay, let me actually show you guys something I'm going to teach in the workshop this weekend. So once you see this, you can't unsee this, so you've been warned. The forms of the eye, the only things you need to keep in mind when sculpting the eyes are these three lines. So you have this edge of the eyelid that merges with the rest of the face, have this other edge of the eyelid, and then we have this edge that merges with the eyeball. These three lines is everything you need to keep in mind when sculpting the eyelids, and you're going to see that on every sculpt that you see. So right here we have this edge right here, we have the other edge that merges with the rest of the face, and then we have this edge that merges with the eyeballs. So once you're sculpting eyes, keep those three edges in mind. So that's just a sneak peek of what I'm going to teach in the workshop. So I don't want to spoil it for anyone that will join the workshop, but yeah, use that tip when you're sculpting eyes. Just keep those three edges in mind. Alright, so right here you can see the first edge right here. So on this character is a bit of an Asian character, so that first edge doesn't exist, so it's just somewhere around here. It will show a little bit, and then we have the edge of the eyelid, so this one right here, and this one is very crucial. This one is really important because it is what gives shapes to the eyelids. And then you have that other edge that meets with the eyeball, and what you want to keep in mind is that you just want to keep this area flat. So Shift T to use the scrape polish brush and then just plane that out. You want to make sure it's flat just like that, and then you have really clean shapes excuse me, you have really clean shapes around the eyes, around the eyelids. So let's also do the same for the bottom eyelid. So this is one edge that touches the eyeball, that one is fine, and then we'll go in and do the edge of the lower eyelid like so, and then the last edge of the eyelids, I'll just take this one like this, and now let's sharpen the eyelids with the scrape brush. I'll just plane this out. Yeah, and once you start applying that on the eyes of your character, sculpting eyelids or sculpting eyes, it's not going to be that difficult. Okay, hello everyone that just joined. Hello Medusa. Hello. Yeah, it's an interesting stuff, the concept I just showed you now. Yeah, very interesting and very easy to sculpt eyelids that way. So yeah, that's cheat code for sculpting eyelids. So join the workshop if you want to know more. Okay, I'm going to continue sculpting the eyelids right here, and it still looks a bit weird from this side. So I'm just going to once again pull this in, and then let's also just pull the eyeballs inside. I'll shade this smooth because I don't need to see that. Okay, and then let's fix up the edge at the eyelid here. We want this to be straight or to be pointed, something like this. You don't want it to be curved, except that's the nature of your character. But let's go with the eyelids and something like this. Okay, that looks good, and I'll just scale the eyeballs up and pull them into the face or into the eye. Something like this, and then I'll adjust the eyelids to fit around it. Okay, let's smooth out this top part here. Okay, I see another question. What's up, Kenny? Yeah, what's up, Jones? How you doing? How often will you do this workshop? Can't make this one. I want to be there so I get the most out of it as always. Okay, that's the issue. I don't actually know when I'm going to do another workshop. I don't know, because after this workshop there might be a chance to do it in December, but everyone is on holiday and I don't know about that. And in January I'm going to open spaces for my mentorship program, so I don't know when I'll have the chance again. And the mentorship program lasts for like 3 months, so I won't have the time again to do any of this workshop. So that question unfortunately cannot answer. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do the workshop again after this one. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be next year though, but I don't know when next year. So after this one, I might not do another one throughout till the mentorship program, till my mentorship program is over. So yeah. Alright, this is the eyes. And then something I also like to do when I'm sculpting the eyes is to add in the pupils, just so that I can see the eyes. So I'm going to go into vertex paint. No, I'm actually going to go into vertex paint on the eye. I'm going to select this part of the eyes, and then I'm going to paint this black. Okay, and to actually see the color, go up to object color and then choose attributes, and let's just rotate these eyes to be right here. Nice. Something I also like to do when sculpting faces is to add little eye highlights. The way we can do that, I'm just going to select these faces, Shift D to duplicate them, Alt S, I'll scale it up a little bit, and then I'll separate this, and then we can select this, right click, loop tools, and choose circle. And now to actually see the eye highlights, let's remove the color attribute from this one, and we have nice eye highlights on this character, which is nice. So it just gives like the character a little bit of like life. Without it, let's hide it, it just looks dull, but with it, yeah, I think it looks nice. So let's see before and after. Okay, so I think we have come a really long way. So this is before and this is after. I wish the hair was still working so that I would have seen how the hair works with this. So before and after. Alright. Okay, I see a question. Are you an animator? No, I'm not an animator. I'm a character artist. I don't know how to animate if my life depended on it. So yeah, well, I can do a little bit of animation. Let me actually show you an animation that I made that I'm actually proud of. So I'm just going to open up my Instagram and I'll show you a nice animation that I made. So I don't know how to animate professionally, but I made this little animation and I think it's nice. So I'm just going to show you this one. So let me start the video again. Yeah, did you see that? Nice animation. That's like pro animation right there. So yeah. So yeah, I really like how this turned out. Let me start the video again. I animated a nice blink, I animated the camera, and I animated her looking this way. So I really like this animation, but I don't know how to animate professionally. By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram already, at kenizard.com, you can find me there, and you can also message me there. Alright, let's get back to sculpting, and I also see some questions. I tried to follow your old video on topology, but topology is so hard. Please, simple one, please. Please, simple one more. Okay, the topology is a bit difficult, so I'm not even going to lie. But I tried to explain this in the best way I can. If you want more help with like the topology and just like making characters in general, I'm going to lead you towards my mentorship program. If you want like help, like direct help, join the mentorship program. The videos is the most I can do for you guys, and I try to explain everything to the simplest, like in the simplest way possible. So yeah, if that's not enough, then you can join the mentorship program. Okay, can you share your reference library that contain good body parts reference images? I don't know that I have a photo library that has good body parts. I save a lot of stuff on Pinterest, but yeah, I don't have like a specific library of where I keep body parts. Bro, that's so weird to see. I don't have a library where I keep body parts reference images. So yeah, that's like 3 seconds. Yeah, it's a short animation, but I like it. I'm proud of it. The short animation is really great. Thank you, my friend. All right, let's actually finish up this sculpt. So I'm just going to plane out the side of the face, and I'm going to bring this out and smooth this out. Nice. Let's see before and after. All right, we have come a long way. I don't like how the nose is actually looking, so I'm just going to bring this in like so. Okay, now I like how that looks much better. I'll use the clay shoes brush and I'll sculpt in the face. Nice. And I don't want this part to bulge out too much, so I'm just going to smooth it out. Okay, any plans to make some paid course instead of a mentorship program? Thought is still really pricey in my country's currency. Yeah, I'm actually working on a course. The mentorship program is like, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone to join. That's why it's like the price is high up there. So, but people that want to join the mentorship program are going to join. I don't know when the course is going to come out, but I'm currently working on a course. I don't know when it's going to come out. It's going to be next year, sometime next year. But I don't know. The mentorship program is currently the only thing I'm offering right now. So yeah, for someone who wants to start sculpting, which course would you suggest? Note, I'm just a beginner. I already know my way around Blender, not just sculpting. Okay, nice. I want you to go to my YouTube channel right now. I assume you're still watching this video, so just go to my channel and then find the sculpting masterclass. Let me actually just pull that up really quickly. Is it this video right here? To find, is it this video? Is 4 hours, is free. You don't have to pay anything. Go through these 4 hours and I can guarantee like 99.99999% that's going to help you out. The remaining 0.00% is completely up to you. But yeah, it's 4 hours, is free to join. Oh my god. Black Friday sale. Let's turn that off. And skip this ad. So yeah, check out the sculpting workshop. It's completely free. I take you from sculpting, setting up Blender, then sculpting a bust. So I've seen many results for the sculpting workshop of this sculpting course. I've seen many results and it looks good in my opinion. So yeah, go through the sculpting workshop. We also go all the way to making a character like this. So yeah, check it out. Some other things, some other messages. Thanks, that's what I'm using currently. I messaged you yesterday regarding remesh, remember? Okay, on the Discord. Okay, nice. Yeah, I think I remember you. Yeah, I chat to a lot of people on the Discord. So yeah, keep going with the workshop. Let me actually show you some results from some people that have completed that, just the first chapter. So this result I really like, and some other people, yeah, some results from some other people that have completed the workshop, the course. I keep saying workshop. All right, let's turn that off now. That's great news. Okay, thanks man for this course. I've been looking for you all year. I'm glad you found me and I'm glad I found you. All right, let's actually finish this sculpt. I'm going to stop looking at the comments for a bit and then we're actually going to finish up this sculpt. Okay, Shift A, let's model in the ear right now. I'm going to use a round cube and I'm just going to bring this all the way to this side and bring this over here. Let's use the line project brush in the sculpt mode to do this. Okay, and then I'm going to scale this down and bring this right here, and I'll just actually scale it down a lot more, and then I'll just rotate this G and X, and I'll just bring it into the head like this, and let's symmetrize this over to the other side, and now let's actually start sculpting on this. I'm going to use the grab brush and I'll pull this into the face. Make sure asymmetry is turned on. So something like this. Let's see if making this ear smaller will look good. Okay, yeah, I think I like the character with smaller ears. Nice. Let's also make sure that it looks nice from every angle possible. G and Y, move this back, and let's bring this up. Okay, and I'm going to bring this down. I'm just adjusting the neck right now. Okay, nice. I'm going to add in really simple eyebrows, mesh plane RX90 to rotate this, and then let's move it in front of the character and then just model the character. I'll turn on face project, turn this on, and then let's model really simple eyebrows, and I'll extrude this way. Bring this down. Let's add in a solidify modifier and also a mirror modifier, just so that we can mirror this over to the other side. I'll change the thickness of the solidify modifier, and I'll also add in a viewport display color right here. Nice, that is actually looking quite nice. Okay, and let's just add some more geometry to the eyebrows so that we can shape this how we actually want this to be. Okay, nice. Let's sculpt in very simple ears right now. I'll go into sculpt mode. I'll increase my remesh resolution and I'll remesh this. Then I'm going to sculpt over this, and the way I like to sculpt ears, I'll use the lasso max brush. I'm going to check front faces only, and then I'll just mask out the ear. Something like this. I'll invert the mask with Ctrl I, and then I'll use the grab brush and just pull this in. Something like this. I'll clear the mask and I'm going to remesh, and let's just make a really simple shape of an ear. Nice and easy. Actually, let's just bring this part out. Okay, something more like this is fine. I'll to use the inflate brush, and I'll just go over the ears like so. Nice. Okay, and is there anything still left to do on this guy? If you guys point out anything to me that we can fix, then we'll fix that up, and then this should be good to go. Is this looking good? Is this looking great? Let me know in the comments and in the chat. Yeah, I think this is looking good. I'm going to smooth out this area. And I'll also just mark out the lower eyelids. We can actually just increase the remesh resolution, remesh this, and we can refine some of the shapes. So on the lips right here, we're going to refine the shape with the crease polish brush. Mark out the corners of the mouth. Nice, it's looking really nice. Then just smooth out the transitions right here. I also mark out the chin. Then let's make the lower lip, and then I'll just use the inflate brush and then I'll inflate this over. Nice. Okay, let's work a bit on the jaw. And I think I'll leave this in. I'll just use the crease polish brush and I'll go over it. Nice. This looks so funny. And I'm just going to bring this out. Okay, I'm going to increase the solidify on the eyebrows. For some reason I cannot select the eyebrows. Okay, I'm in a different mode. I'll increase the solidify thickness. I'll shade this smooth. Nice. And now let's turn on the hair, and we'll have to fix whatever damage we did on the hair. So I believe there was a vertex group somewhere and we have gotten rid of it, so I'm just going to paint in a new vertex group, name collision group. What does that mean? I have no clue. Name collision group. Okay, I'll add in a new group, and yeah, let's go in and paint with. Oh wow, this is looking, I hope this turns out well. I don't know why it's doing that. And I'll just paint where we want the hair to be. Ideally you shouldn't be doing the particle hair on like your actual sculpt. You should create like a scalp object to make hair, but it's fine just for this practice. Just going to go over all of these, and you can hold down control and remove parts that we don't want. Okay, and let's try again. We'll go back to our particle system, and let's see, group, let's turn this back on, and I think we have completely messed up the hair. We can't redeem this guy anymore. So I'm just going to leave the hair out of this. We have done something wrong and that's messed up the hair, but it's fine. We were able to fix up the sculpt, so we went from this to this, which I think we made it look a lot more nicer. Alright, yeah, I see a question. I got trouble with skin shader. Will you do this in this live? No, I won't be doing that in this live stream. Not right now, or not in this live stream. Or maybe in a next live stream I could walk you guys over skin shading. Is that something you guys like to see, like a skin shader setup? Just let me know, and we can work on it on another live stream, but not this live stream. I didn't plan to do skin shading in this live stream. I'm just going to save this file. Alright, so this is the whole sculpt. Let's merge the neck and the head together. Ctrl J to join them together, and a lot of stuff just went wrong right now. Let's do that again, and if anything like that happens, it's probably because you have color attributes on your mesh. So I'm just going to remove the color attribute here, and let's do that again. Ctrl J, and now it should join just nicely. I'm going to remesh this together, and then we can use the clay brush right here. That brush, most people don't use it often, but is good for stuff like this, so you can just clean up the transitions between two meshes just like so, and then just smooth it out. And clay brush is underrated. So yeah, if you have a chance to use clay brush, go ahead and use it. I'm just going to smooth this out like so, and let's also do the same at the under of the neck. and then I'm going to smooth all of this out. Let's mark out the separation between the jaw and the neck. Use the clay sheet brush, or the crease polish brush, sorry, and I'll just mark this out. Alright, nice. This is going to be all for today's live stream. So this was like a sculpt over session. This is where we started from, and this is what we took it to. So yeah, looks nice. Okay, let's read some chats before we go. Does the viewport perspective affect you? Like sometimes I switch to orthographic view mistakenly, especially when I use the shortcut to jump to different views and when I start moving things around. So yeah, the thing I don't like about the viewport perspective is just the default perspective in Blender. So the default focal length is 50, and when you try to sculpt a character, it just like, it looks a little bit like skewed, just a little bit, and I don't like that. But I think I've gotten used to the shortcut, so I know when I'm in orthographic and I know when I'm in perspective, so that doesn't bother me too much. So yeah, just if you get used to the shortcuts, it shouldn't bother you too much. But I like to always change my focal length to 150. I find that sculpting at this perspective is so much nicer. Okay, all right, this is looking nice. Before I know it, I've messed up my my model. Yeah, you just need to keep on practicing. I probably won't mess up your model anymore. All right, this is going to be the end of today's live stream. Thank you guys for joining me on the live stream. If you want to join the face sculpting workshop this weekend, or if you're just joining, let me actually just tell you what we are doing this weekend. The face sculpting workshop is a 3-day sculpting workshop. It's going to be on the 29th, the 28th, and the 30th of this month. The first day, we are going to look at understanding the forms of the face, which is everything you need to know before diving into sculpting. Once I show you this stuff, let me show you again. Once I show you all this stuff and I break down all this stuff to you, it's going to be hard to make a bad sculpt. So yeah, that's what we're going to do on day one, and then we also just block out the characters. So we are going to do block out of the character. We're going to block out the head. Let me just show you that again. We're going to block out the head and the neck and the ear, and then the head, the ear, the neck, the bust, and the ear. So this is what we're going to do on day one. And then on day two, we are going to go ahead, we are going to add in the eyelids, we are going to sculpt in the mouth, we are going to refine the sculpt of the mouth, we are going to do all of this, we are going to add some asymmetry, and we're also going to add some grease pencil lines to our sculpt. So that's everything we're going to do on day two. And then finally on day three, it's going to be just exactly like what we did right now. It's going to be sculpt over sessions for everyone that joined the workshop. So for everyone that joined, there's going to be live sculpt over on day three. So yeah, that's everything that's going to happen. I'm just going to drop the link of the workshop again in the comments in case you want to check that out. So let me just drop that again. All right, so you can go to the website kenizard.com and join the workshop, and I'll see you guys there this weekend. All right, thank you guys for joining the live stream, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye.